city appearing in the apocalypse.
Not entirely sure what's going on in this. It's a lot.
My ADHD. Ooh, my ADHD loves this one. You do any?
Qué lindo está ese nene de Cash Card. Mira qué grande tú estás. Tú tienes muchas novias, ¿verdad? ¿Cuántas novias tienes?
Tengo como 3 novias de escuela.
Mira, a ver. Te doy un chapelazo.
Developing in North Philadelphia, police are searching for the gunman in a double shooting that leaves a teenage boy dead and a pregnant woman fighting for her life. This happened just before 10:30 last night on Olivier Street near West Huntington Street. Police say a 15-year-old boy was shot several times and died at the hospital minutes later. A pregnant woman believed to be in her early 20s was shot multiple times in the head.
Niggas gonna be hard for niggas to get that niggas ain't really got it.
Last night in what is proving to become another violent weekend here in Philadelphia. You know, a dozen victims and at least 2 deaths. And that's on top of the static and barricaded nation. It's like people in Frankfurt getting together today for a Stop the Violence police walk and basketball tournament. Here's our Marcus
Victims of gun violence as they try to come together to make a positive impact on the city. While this might look bad, this court, you'll realize these folks are doing so much more than playing a game. This touches home for us. State Representative Jason Dawkins, along with members of the Philadelphia Police Department and community activists, took the streets and courts today to not just honor victims of gun violence, but to spread a positive message. It was important to have solid, and all I'm trying to do is become one of those. Including a 20-year-old pregnant woman in the 2600 block of North Beer Street. Michelle Zenard Gerard is not just a community member in these neighborhoods, she's also a police officer. She says a two-way street of trust must form between those blue and those in the communities.
We also live here for 160, maybe more hours a month. This is our community, regardless of where we work. So it's not just the community's part to establish that relationship. A lot of it depends on our shoulders.
Jeannie Bruno is the president of the foundation being honored today. Glenn Jahil was her brother-in-law who was murdered several years ago.
We're going to march around and just have a whole community day and just start peeling the layers back to deal with the trauma and, you know, start loving on one another, smile, cry, laugh, eat, enjoy one another.
In Philadelphia, Marcus Espinoza, Fox 29 News.
The big news, this is where you live.
The big news, you're just bad. But to small news, you're local. Yep, this is small news. Small news. This is small news too. You know, all the stuff that impacts your life and makes your community like a real community.
Not much really happening up here.
Look at you.
Small news makes a big difference. Newsbreak, the nation's leading local news app. Download now.
He started a new dance with that bitch. This nigga got me laughing, yo.
Do you know this woman? Philadelphia police say she is behind an attempted murder last week. One victim, a 23-year-old, is fighting for her life in critical condition right now. Our Marcus Espinoza sat down with her mother today. Philadelphia police requesting help from the public in tracking down a fugitive wanted for attempted murder. We spoke with the victim's mother, and she expressed to us her concern and sorrow, not just for her daughter, but for the city of Philadelphia.
It's been hell since that day.
July 1st is that day. Now, Heather Morris will always remember as the one that changed everything for her daughter. Just before 10 a.m. last Sunday, 23-year-old Jayden Gunner was shot twice in the head on the 2100 block of Darien Street. Gunter was sitting in the passenger side of her own vehicle with her boyfriend at a store on the 2100 block of Darien Street that morning. After going into the store, according to police, her boyfriend got into a verbal argument with the female. As he returned to his car, things escalated to gunfire. The female began arguing, pulls out a gun, fires at him. I'm sitting in the right arm as he runs from the car. His girlfriend is sitting in the front seat of the car, and the female offender was passing. Goes up to the passenger side. As the door's opening and she fires a shot directly in her car. Police identifying the shooter as this woman, Keishaline Patterson, 24 years old, last known home address on the 7900 block of Henry Avenue. She's a fugitive at this point. We don't know where she's at. But we think she may be in the area at Kensington, so anybody who sees her, we ask to do not do anything but call 911 or call our tip line 215-68-TIPS. And if she's listening, do the right thing and turn yourself in. Gunter had just graduated from Westchester University a year ago. Now she faces an uncertain future. Her mother, Heather Morris, demanding justice.
There are repercussions to everything you do, and this person has to be held accountable to the damage she's done single-handedly.
Should we smoke that one?
Of a Sunday.
Should we smoke that one?
To an entire family that loves her.
While she prays for her daughter's future and health, Morris worries for the city.
I don't know what we're going to do. I'm very scared for the city at this point.
Which one?
It's a beautiful city, but this type of stuff happening constantly on an everyday basis.
Which one? Which one? Which one do y'all think?
Philadelphia police encouraging you, if you know any information about the whereabouts of this now fugitive, to please call Crime Stoppers and report that information. At Philadelphia Police Headquarters, Marcus Espinoza, Fox 29 News.
Or that one.
Did you know you can receive free cell phone service? That's right. Thanks to the government's Affordable Connectivity Program, you can enjoy unlimited data, talk, and text on one of America's largest and fastest 4G 5G networks. Cut your costs without cutting your coverage. If you receive federal benefits like Medicaid or SNAP, then join the 2 million Americans who save hundreds with Q-Link Wireless. Sign up is fast and easy, so get started today. Visit QLinkWireless.com. That's QLinkWireless.com.
Which one? You too. Which one? Y'all ain't telling me. Should I smoke some green flake fuzz? That shit look like some green flake fuzz right there. This shit look like some perfect. Whoa, white smoke. This shit look like some snowman perp right there. This shit look like, I don't know what that shit. That shit just look like some run.
Go on. Apparently,
and then this shit look like some other purple shit.
It's all in an ad
and then that shit. This probably some other run. This probably like a constant. So what I want to know is which one I say. Which one I said put up in your personal records. That's me. I got 2 picks.
No matter where you put it,
I would pick from this one or this one. And so I'm going to toss it because that's not really, you know what I'm saying?
Are now facing federal charges in connection to the death of Brianna Taylor. The U.S. Attorney General finding mistakes were made before the shooting and a cover-up and lies were presented after. A reminder of what happened in her apartment that night. Our focus team using 911 dispatch calls, police records, and witness interviews to piece it all together. Civil unrest on
I'm telling y'all, fuck with me, y'all.
Weeks of protest, calls for change. But how did we get here? To understand, we have to go back.
Y'all looking for that good smoke, or y'all looking for that platinum?
Judge Mary Shaw signs off on 5 warrants as part of a large narcotics investigation.
But if y'all
3 warrants were for properties on Elliott Avenue in West Louisville. Detectives wrote they were looking for drugs, weapons, electronics, and mail related to illegal drug activity. A 4th warrant was for a house on Muhammad Ali. And then this warrant for 26-year-old Brianna Taylor's South Louisville apartment. How was Taylor connected? She wasn't the main suspect in the case, but she was named on the warrant. Detectives say in January of this year, they witnessed their main suspect, Jamarcus Glover, arrive at Taylor's apartment, go inside, and then come back out with a package. Police say Glover then got into his car and drove to the Muhammad Ali address, which the detective called a known drug house. The warrant goes on to say that a U.S. postal inspector verified that Glover had been receiving packages at Taylor's apartment, and that it is not uncommon for drug traffickers to receive mail packages at different locations to avoid detection from law enforcement.
I like all of them.
They believe Glover may be keeping narcotics or proceeds from the sale of narcotics inside Taylor's apartment for safekeeping. On the night of March 12th, Detective John Mattingly and several others were briefed on the plan. Mattingly says he drove by Taylor's apartment around 11:45 to scope it out. And then, around 12:30 on the morning of March 13th, officers parked in front of Brianna Taylor's building and walked up to her door.
All SWAT was doing their thing down at 2-4.
And y'all want that
so
shit?
we went over.
Y'all gotta connect with me directly.
Executed at the same time.
About 10 miles away, officers executed a warrant at a different property on Elliott Avenue. There, police found their main suspect, Glover, and arrested him. Around 12:40, officers began to bang on Taylor's door, setting into motion the events that eventually led to her death.
A loud knock at the door.
The detectives say they knocked on the door multiple times.
I knocked on the door, banged on it. We didn't announce the first couple because our intent was not to hit the door. Our intent was to give her plenty of time to come to the door because they said she was probably there alone.
But Taylor wasn't there alone. According to her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, he and Taylor were in bed, watching a movie when they heard the knocks.
So it's a loud bang at the door. She pops up out of sleep and scared her to death. Me too. Like, who is that?
Walker says they jumped out of bed, started getting dressed, and he grabbed his gun. At the same time, detectives took a battering ram against the door.
The door, comes, off the hinges. So I just let off one shot. We still can't see who it is or anything.
But Detective Mattingly says he saw them.
You don't have to roll all of it.
Probably 20 feet away.
You know you have
right down the hallway. There's a bedroom door on the right. There's a
you got to roll all your blood into
the male's closest to the door, so he's to my right. And as I turn the doorway, he's in a stretched out position with his hands with a gun. And as soon as I clear, he fires. No.
Walker says shots started flying. He fell to the ground and dropped his gun. Mattingly was shot.
As soon as the shot hit, I could feel the heat in my leg. And so I just returned fire. I got 4 rounds off. And it was like simultaneous. Just boom, 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 boom.
The detective says he fired 2 more rounds and then told other officers he'd been shot. It was called over the radio at 12:43 a.m., according to a cab report provided by the mayor. Detective Miles Cosgrove fired shots from inside the apartment. Brett Hankinson blindly fired 10 rounds from outside.
Both on the ground, and when all the shots stopped, panicking, she's right there on the ground, bleeding.
Records show 3 neighbors called 911 at 12:42, reporting shots near their apartment. 5 minutes later, after calling his mom, Walker dials 911.
911 operator headquarters emergency. I don't know what happened. Somebody kicked in the door and shot my girlfriend. Okay, where are you located? I'm at 3003 Springfield Drive, apartment 3003 Springfield Drive, apartment number 4. Oh my God. I can roll something just like that. How old is your girlfriend? She's 26. Where was she shot at? I don't know. She's on the grill right now. I don't know.
Meanwhile, officers rushed to the scene on word of an injured detective. Officers on scene put a tourniquet on Mattingly's leg as they wait for EMS.
At some point, EMS shows up. It seemed like forever. I don't know how long it took.
Mattingly was rushed to University Hospital where he went into surgery. According to the Taylor family attorneys, 120 LMPD officers went to the complex in the hours after the shooting, but no one went into the apartment to provide aid to Taylor until Walker was called out.
I'm still yelling help because she's over here coughing and I'm just freaking out, but I'm on the phone with her mom.
now at this point. So they keep yelling, come out. So I'm like, okay, it's the police.
Walker says police told him to drop his phone, so he does. And then he walks backwards to the officers.
Yeah, I'm doing everything they're asking me to, slowly and surely, like, I'm like scared to death.
Walker surrendered to police as SWAT moved into the apartment, finding an unresponsive Brianna Taylor on the hallway floor. Walker was arrested at the scene and taken to LMPD headquarters, where he was interrogated for several hours, the interview wrapping up around 5:30 in the morning.
Like, I literally don't understand this at all. I have no reason. Like, I don't understand at all why they would be knocking on her door unless it was a mistake. Like, at all. And I asked that out there a million times, like, why were y'all even at the door? Nobody had an answer.
That's what we're here to figure out, man.
Walker was charged with attempted murder of a police officer, a charge that was later dismissed. Later that day, LMPD briefed the media about the incident.
Who died is, we're still wondering, we're still working through
As police briefed the media, the Public Integrity Unit searched through Taylor's